Welcome, everyone. I'm Amy Seeley, president of Seeley Test Pros and Leap, helping students to succeed in all kinds of tests from 8th grade to grad school throughout Ohio.
And I'm Mike Bergen, president of Chariot Learning and Test Prep, helping students and teachers alike exceed their educational goals based out of Rochester, New York.
Between the two of us today, we have over 65 years of experience at the highest levels of the test preparation and supplemental education industries.
We both love to talk and learn about the latest issues in education, testing, and admissions. So let's get down to tests and the rest. The fascinating topic we want to explore today is ourselves. Welcome to the July 2026 episode of EXTEMP with Amy and Mike. Hello, Amy.
Hey, Mike. It's good to see you. Not from a hotel room in Prague.
Then I guess it's not as good to see me, right?
I'm seeing you stateside, buddy.
Yeah, stateside. It's nice that you've decided to drop in to handle some domestic affairs before your next jaunt.
I'm back. Yes, exactly.
Let's get into that. Listen, the first thing we do in our XTemp episodes is review the prior month. And I mean, the big question on everybody's minds is, how was Amy's European vacation?
I mean, you got to see me towards the end when we talked last time at the end of it, but the way in which it wrapped up, it was everything I wanted it to be. I mean, but for the temperature, which I think I shared before. Prague was amazing. I loved Prague. It was my favorite. It's probably up now one of my most favorite European cities. As I said before, the ChatGPT planning my trip, that worked out really well. Yeah, no, it was great. It was great. And then, of course, in July,
I went on another trip.
I went on another trip.
You came home. How quick was your turnaround?
It was like
it was a matter of days, wasn't it?
It was like days. Yeah, I mean, I will say I felt really guilty because it felt like unfair to be like turning around. But no, I went to Maine. Well, actually, I wouldn't say Maine. We did New England, and that we went to Salem, Massachusetts. That's how we launched our trip, which I'd never been to Salem. I was super excited. You know, I'm a history buff. I love colonial history. So
my siblings love Salem. I've never been.
It's a really cute town. Obviously, lots of history, colonial history. So for me, that was fun. I mean, it was hot. It was a hot day when we were there, but it's just really interesting to explore a city and find, and once again, ChatGPT suggesting things like a candy shop, which museum to go to, and so that was really cool. We did do a ghost tour at the end of the night. So that, of course, makes total sense in Salem, Massachusetts. But it was really fun. And I'm so glad we went. I mean, in the big picture, I'd love to go back in October, which is the busiest month for Salem. They said last year they had 1.3 million tourists in the month of October there. So that would be cool. And yet I don't necessarily want to be there with like 1.3 million people.
I wonder if Salem is a bigger draw than anything else in Massachusetts except for Boston. Like does it get more visitors than Martha's Vineyard or whatever?
No, you're right. Because it really, but what he said was they didn't get that kind of traffic, but for the movie Hocus Pocus in 1993. That is actually when Salem saw this incredible boost.
They leaned into it. I have friends that are massive Halloween buffs.
Yes. See if you're a Halloween buff.
More than one Halloween in Salem.
Yeah. But it was great. Maine was great. I mean, of course, the fires, the smoke from the fires did reach where we were. The only thing I can say about that is it actually a day that was supposed to be about 95 degrees. It made it 83 because obviously the smog was like,
I bet the sunrises were glorious.
It was so many. So there's the Marginal Way. We go to Algonquin, Maine. There's something called the Marginal Way, which is this amazing walk around the coast. So I got to do that several days in the morning, and just the beach, the sand. Again, I'm taking in nature, and I just everything about that. Getting up in the morning and walking. Oh, yeah. I was, of course, looking for birds. I did share one gull with you.
Let's see gull. You're learning. That's good.
That was my moment where I got to share with my birding friends. Here's the bird I saw today.
There are it was some really wicked shore, like seabirds you can see. There's a bird called a guillemot that you can see in the water, and it's black and white, but when it opens its mouth, it has a red mouth. Actually, you and I saw guillemots on the West Coast when we were in Seattle, and I pointed them out. And they also have them in Maine in summer, and they're just so cool. I've said this to you before. There's nothing in my mind like Maine in summer. It's
It's
just
beautiful.
such a special, distinctive
A goal
location.
of life, Mike, is that if I could do an Airbnb or something for like 2 or 3 weeks in the summer and work from there, that
Hmm.
is that is something that I really have a goal for, to then be able to feel like every day you're just in, it's just you're, you know what a trip is. As you know, the end of the trip is coming. Every moment matters. So like every walk outside, like, oh, you got to
That's
do
right.
this because I probably won't be back for a while. And so my family's been going. I've been going for 37 years.
Yeah,
The room I stayed in was the same room I stayed in the first time
that's so
37 years ago.
great. Really
So
awesome.
that, and my kids love it. And so it's great. We enjoy being together. So how about you? What's been keeping you busy
So,
this past month?
true to my word, I haven't gone anywhere this month. I don't travel
Well, you've
outside of New
entertained people
York.
this past month. So
I
didn't
entertain
you've
people.
had
So, my brother and his family always come up around the 4th of July. And then this time, they left my niece, Vanessa, my 13-year-old niece, and she spent two
ah,
weeks with us.
how was that? I mean,
It
having
was
a
it was
high
fun. I mean,
schooler.
so she's totally chill. She's such a
Yeah,
delight.
yeah.
I think that she would have been tremendously bored if Ivy wasn't here.
I was gonna say, was Ivy around to kind of
She and
pal around
Ivy
with her?
bonded and did tons of stuff together.
Oh,
And
nice.
Ivy really gave so much of herself to
That's good
Vanessa.
to
And
see
it
the
was good. And it's
cousins.
just great to spend time because, they live down in Westchester, which is,
Mm-hmm.
5 hours from me. So I don't see
Mm-hmm.
them that much. And I kind
Yeah.
of, all of my family is outside of the Rochester area. And so it's
So,
nice to
yeah.
have that opportunity. And it's great.
Well, here's a question for
Really
you,
fun.
I would imagine. When someone comes to visit you in your city, you often feel like there's a sense of wanting to take them around or do certain
Yes.
activities. So I'm curious, did you guys do anything that you had a great time doing while she was here just because you kind of did it with her?
We went berry picking. So I
Oh,
used to take the kids berry picking when they were young, and then obviously we
hmm.
haven't done that in a long time. But we have great orchards, and July is fantastic. We grabbed raspberries and blueberries
Hmm.
and gooseberries, and then we
Ah,
baked a bunch of stuff. But also just kind of walking, like just
okay.
walking
Yeah.
outside is really nice this time of year. And so
Was
we
it
did a
hot when
lot
you were
of
berry
that.
picking?
It was hot. It was warm.
Yeah.
I can handle the heat better than she can.
Okay.
She welts a little bit. I think it's just more the relaxed stuff because, Rochester has this reputation. It's a great place to live, but I wouldn't want to visit, right? It's just like there's not so many highlights.
Yeah.
The number one tourist destination in Rochester is Wegmans.
I was just thinking, I've never been to a Wegmans. That's so funny you say it because I was just thinking about, and I was trying to remember where Wegmans were. So you have a Wegmans. Is that kind of more
We
like
have the
East
flagship
Coast?
Wegmans.
Oh, you
No,
have the
we have the
flag.
Wegmans where you can see
Oh,
Wegmans.
okay. Okay.
I used to see Danny Wegman and now Colleen Wegman, the CEO, the family that owns it. They're there all the time, but it's just a supermarket. I mean,
Yeah.
we have other things. We have Lake Ontario and
Yeah.
beaches. We have the National Museum of Play, which is phenomenal. The Strong Museum is a true tourist destination,
Ah,
and it has the Toy Hall of Fame.
the Toy Hall of
They
Fame.
add five
Oh,
toys every year. It's really
oh,
serious. So like
cool.
when you come to Rochester, I'm going to take you to that because that's
That's
probably the
cool.
most distinctive. Like we have an art museum, we have a science museum, but that's not anything compared to the National Museum of Play, or maybe it's an International Museum of
Yeah.
Play. It is truly phenomenal. And what was amazing was raising children in Rochester, where
And being
you get
able,
you get an annual pass and you spend
oh.
multiple days a week there. It's
Do
designed
you
for
get to
kids
play
to
with the toys?
you get to play with all
Or is
kinds
it
of
more
stuff.
like
No, no,
just
no.
you
They have
look at
like
them?
all no, so like
It
they
can be
have a Hall of
interactive.
Fame and they have
Right.
a massive arcade, but they have
Sure.
exhibits that
That are
are
interactive.
interactive. You're playing with superheroes. You're playing with Berenstain
Oh,
Bears.
I
They have
like
a
that.
mini Wegmans supermarket that
Oh,
every
really?
kid loves. Oh, it's phenomenal.
See, now actually, I got to tell you, actually, I know you're always giving me reasons to come up to Rochester. Actually, Annie would totally appreciate that. That's fun.
You
She might
probably
actually
would.
want to come, right?
Yeah, she probably would want
On
to
my
come
travels.
see that
Yeah.
because it's the best. If you've never been to a play museum, I've been to some bad ones.
Yeah. I've never been to one.
I went to one. There was one in Manhattan when my kids were little, and
Hmm.
we went to it, and it was so full that you couldn't see any children. It was
Oh,
just like all you could see were the adults, and then every
ah,
kid was lost in the crowd.
that's too
That's
bad.
terrifying.
Yeah, that's
The Play
definitely.
Museum, what a place to have access to when you're raising children.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so
I was
this
not
has
aware of
been
this museum. So thanks
really
for sharing.
chill. My strawberries did not did not take this year.
Oh, you because last we spoke, I think you had one berry that you
Yeah,
were
I didn't get much more than that berry.
did
That's
did the question was, did you share the berry in your
I did, yeah. So I
was
cut it
it
in
did it
tiny
taste good?
pieces. I mean, it was fine, but it
It
was
was a
not worth the
berry.
effort.
Was
But
it
the
sweet?
tomatoes, well, it was sweet. Of course, it was
Yes.
sweet,
Okay.
but it was tiny, and there was only one of them, and I grew a bunch of plants, and they
Does
just
it
never
take
fruited.
more years for berry? I don't know if
I
it's something
mean, I don't, I tried, I followed instructions, and I did a bunch of the things that you're supposed to do, but maybe the container wasn't
I
right.
gotcha.
Maybe I should grow them in beds. Maybe I should have wrapped them up sooner. I should have cut the runners. Like I've learned, but I don't know that I'd
You're
try it
learning
again.
from your mistake. You're not going
I'm
to do
learning
berries
from my
again, though, you
mistake.
think?
Maybe we'll see.
Maybe.
It's, there's other things I want to grow, and I
But
want to
those
put some
bushes,
stuff into
don't those
those
bushes
beds.
just stay there? Like, and then next year they could just, or do you, or is it like
Nah,
an
they're really.
annual
I'm not
thing?
leaving them there. They're
Oh,
dying
okay.
back.
Okay.
They died back anyway.
I hear you.
But my tomatoes are phenomenal. Oh,
Oh.
they're ripening now. So like
Oh, you're
we've
gonna have,
been eating tomatoes. Yeah, I'm
are
already
you gonna can
planning.
anything? Are you gonna do anything with tomatoes like to can at all or no?
No way. No, eat
No,
them
you're like, no,
fresh.
just fresh.
Just eat them fresh. Who wants a canned tomato? Not me. I'm not. I'm only growing cherry tomatoes.
Oh, that's right. You had cherry tomatoes.
I love
Gotcha.
the cherry tomatoes,
Yeah,
and
gotcha.
I'm my potato experiment is working out, and so
Ooh,
we're
the
gonna see.
potatoes.
We'll find out maybe in a month if I get
Oh,
potatoes.
we'll check back about the progress of the garden, right? This is
Yeah.
an ongoing thing,
This is an
right?
ongoing thing. The best thing is the wildflowers. I've
Yeah.
got tons of wildflowers. It's now Queen Anne's lace is in bloom,
Mike, you have
and
to take some
coneflowers.
photos and put them in the Substacks when we release this. Let's see some.
Maybe we'll
I
see. We'll
want some
see.
evidence of
I
this.
might wait until the goldenrod and the sunflowers
Okay.
come in because that's
All
really
right.
nice. But yeah,
Gotcha.
it's nice for me. I like
Yeah.
it.
All right. Well, obviously the work of your garden continues. So,
Yeah.
but I want to know about some of your work. So you did some work with ACT recently, and I want to hear more about that.
So our friend Greg Naparella
Hmm.
reached out to me months ago, and he was like, I'm going to be doing this presentation for counselors, school
Hmm.
counselors over the summer. He is one of the heads of the
Hmm.
ACT
Great guy.
counselor blog and the outreach that they do nationally. And he was like, would you like to, you know, talk about the ACT with me? And I'm like, of course,
Oh,
I'd love to talk about the ACT.
who wouldn't want
Uh,
to do that, right?
who wouldn't want to do that? So Greg, myself, and Trevor McKay did the first of the ACT summer counselor presentations
Oh.
this week.
Now, was
And
that a
it was,
webinar or was that in
yeah, it was
person
like a
one?
45-minute webinar. And,
Cool.
they had hundreds of counselors registered.
Yeah.
And what's cool about it is that then I didn't realize they recorded it. And it's a live, on-demand video on the
Oh.
ACT website for counselors to access.
Oh, then is there a link yet for that or no?
I'm hoping that I'll have a link by the time we run the show notes.
Cool.
If someone asked you, if someone from ACT just said, here's 10 slides about the ACT, can you talk about the ACT? Can you
Oh,
riff?
honey.
Like, come on, we could talk
Oh,
all
I
day.
gotcha. I gotcha. You're like, let me have at it.
That was fun.
I'm not going to say, I'm not going to lie. Slightly jealous of that
Hmm.
opportunity, but happy for you. That's great. That's awesome. Glad to
Well,
hear
it's
that.
always nice to collaborate with our colleagues at ACT because they are all not only are they great professionals, they're also passionate. So
Yes.
Greg has such enthusiasm, not just for the ACT assessment, but for the work keys assessment
Right.
and for that full ACT mission of helping students with the, college and career success.
Hmm.
And Trevor McKay spoke about the fee waivers and
Okay. So
opportunities. And I mean,
access.
that's really important to share with counselors. Like
Sure.
these fee waivers provide tremendous resources and they're underutilized. You want to take
Yeah.
advantage of it. And I just spoke about what a valuable assessment it is for any school to use to assess college readiness.
Right.
And you're not going to get anything as exquisitely fine-tuned to give you that signal.
And wouldn't, I mean, obviously you and I have been in the industry well over 30 years, but wouldn't you kind of agree? I'm curious. It's like never been more important to be able to assess that
I
for a
feel like,
variety of
yeah,
reasons.
you're exactly right. I think that finally the scales have come off of our eyes and we realize that grades were not the external signal of readiness that people thought. It's an internal tracker. There's a
Hmm.
million reasons why teachers assign tests and hand out grades. And none of them have to do with telling colleges whether students are ready
Right.
for that higher education. That's just not it. So
Hmm.
besides a test like, say, the AP,
Hmm.
an AP exam, something that's external. We
Hmm.
need these external standardized exams. And also, I mean, what does your average high school teacher know about college readiness? How much time do they spend digging into, well, is my curriculum, what I'm teaching in class, tied to a chance to pass college algebra? As if teachers don't have enough on
And
their
that's
plates
not
that
a
we're going to
critic.
ask them to figure that out?
And by the way, I like to say that's not a criticism of teachers. It's
No.
just a reality,
It's a
right?
reality, and I mean, it's preposterous to expect that they would know that.
Right.
That's the work of a professional dedicated to that.
Right.
And so when you have these organizations with all of their resources that connect to the standards of every single state
Hmm.
and also success metrics in higher education, and they serve up to you on a platter, not just the assessments, but rich dashboards of data that you
Hmm.
can analyze and explore every aspect of your current class, your previous classes, how they compare in your state, how they compare nationally.
Right.
And you and I, as long-standing now ACT instructional mastery trainers, know all about that dashboard.
Right.
And we also know that hardly anybody ever looks at it. It's all there for you, all that information. It's like
Teachers
PSAT
rarely,
scores.
yeah, teachers rarely look at it. They rarely see it there, or rarely have access to it,
Well,
actually.
teachers don't even know about it, but
Yeah.
it's like the administrators rarely look at it and bubble that down or cascade it down. It's the same with PSAT scores. Every high school administers PSAT scores. What what tiny fraction of 1% of high schools actually look at the data and operationalize what they
Right.
learn?
100%. It doesn't, it just, yeah.
Yeah.
We wish they did more with that
We
for sure.
promote it all the time. If you are embedded in a high school, even a middle school,
Yeah.
you have access to more data than you know.
And middle school is pretty critical because we know that a lot of the skills that we see start to
Yes.
be developed in middle
One,
school. Yeah, for the
100%.
test, for
I love
sure.
that realization when
Yeah.
middle school teachers show up for some of these trainings. They're like, I just know that part of my job is getting kids ready for high school level work.
Right.
And then so if you know what they're expected to do in high school and you know what's expected down the road, you can plan better. Totally. So that was
Yeah.
fun.
Yep. I totally do not disagree here.
So now I understand that you've got some things on your mind. You've been pondering some big questions, Amy. Is that true?
So it's really kind of funny. I think when we had some conversation a long time ago about books and things like that, or the Stoics, you mentioned the Stoics. And so long
Mm.
story short, in my trial, I did pick up a book of Marcus Aurelius. I've started to read
Oh,
that.
this is
So
exciting.
now you're
Yeah.
gonna, but in my travels, I finally decided to start doing, and I say journaling. I'm not really journaling. I call it my philosophizing, actually. And it's what it means is I'm pondering. So what I've done is I've started just, and I've actually, by the way, I've actually been reading more books. That sounds hilarious, but more fiction. I've actually read
Yeah.
like 3 fictional books in the last like month, which is a lot for me.
That's a lot for anybody. Three
So
books a month?
to be
That's fantastic.
fair, a couple of the books I read are kind of things that well, they're stories. They made me think about life, right? Life,
Yeah.
whatever. And so this idea of like pondering things has sort of been more prevalent. So I think I did share some of these. Now, here's the thing: some of them are are very personal, and I might not share those with you right now. But some of them are interesting. Like as we age, right, the age we're at, we start to reflect more. Hopefully, we reflect more. And then some are just kind of funny. Like some are just kind of funny. So obviously, with traveling, you see things, you're exposed to things. One of the things that was kind of interesting, and you know me and ChatGPT, I actually kind of philosophized a little bit with ChatGPT, but one of them was the use of like, am I at a destination or am I at an arrival? Like,
Hmm.
and so this idea of, travel removing you from everything in your everyday life that defines who you think you are. In every destination, you discover a different version of yourself. So
Hmm.
some of this was about, and I'm kind of looking, at anything you have to sweat and breathe through is going to be worth it.
Oh, that's nice.
You got to climb all the steps to get to the prize. That
Hmm.
was walking a
It's
bajillion steps up to Prague Castle, by the way.
yeah,
Um,
but so that that's not a metaphor.
No, I mean that was I mean it was literal until I made it a metaphor, Mike.
Yeah, right.
My metaphorization. How about there's a word for you. Um,
Metaphorization.
if you could watch your life as a movie, what parts would you rewind to? Would it be easier to watch the hardest parts knowing that the endings led to the best parts?
Hmm.
What does one do with all this gratitude? Bottle it up, share it.
That's a great question. I think that the masses are ready for your Twitter feed or whatever, where you're going to start dropping your
My
daily
philosophy of the
thoughts,
day.
deep thoughts with Amy Seeley.
Yeah, exactly. I'm Jack Candy. But no, here, let me leave you with this one. Okay, this was a takeaway. When you are tired, just rest. Skip dinner. Eat goldfish crackers and peanut M&Ms in your hotel room. No judgment, period.
What's that a metaphor for?
Oh, that was literal, buddy. That's called the last night in Vienna. It also occurred with a bathrobe. So, because it was, but it's just been real interesting.
Yeah.
You know, with birding, we've talked about this with birding. Part of for me walking and being in nature and hiking and things like that you and I've done with Scott and Claire and things is trying to be more present. And so one of the things you and I've talked about is this idea of even with birding, like I'm out there and now I'm paying attention to things,
Right.
and I think when one does that we can say they probably are more present. And so these thoughts, as they would sort of come into my head, I just took my phone in the journal and was like, oh, this thought just came into my head. I'm going to put it down there and I'm going to revisit it. I want to revisit it. And so sometimes now, as I'm looking at these, I may have taken a picture in that moment.
Hmm.
I may have been doing so. So it takes me back and reminds me of something, of a thought that I want to revisit. And so, so it's been kind of cool. So as I've read some more books, some of these books have been about time travel, history, people, and kind of, again, sort of more existential stuff. It's just made my,
I
made
love
my
it. I
brain
love how
tick.
you are in a constant state of discovery right now.
Yeah.
I mean, like right now, but you've been for a long time
Right.
and it just keeps unfolding and you're doing more writing, which is
Which,
valuable.
like you've always promoted for me. So,
Yeah, I think it's
um,
great. I love it.
basically it's put Amy's overthinking to work on paper, so thank you for that.
Well, when we take it out of our heads and we put it on the page, then we can actually do something with it.
This is true. This is true. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so that's my latest endeavor. Yeah. Stay tuned for the book when
Yeah.
or that maybe I should start a Substack, Amy's philosophy of the day.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe that's where this is going.
Maybe TikTok.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
It would be
TikTok.
a
So
good
we'll
TikTok.
see. We'll see what medium I decide to show up in, and then we'll
Right.
share.
You're the next media that you will conquer.
Yeah, I just don't want my face to be in the medium, like where I have to show up with my face every time. So this is why
You definitely
TikToks
have
have
a
present
face
its
for
own
media.
challenge,
You
right?
got a face for video,
I thought I just had a face for
not a
audio.
voice for radio.
All right, well, moving on. Let's turn back to our favorite topic, which of course is testing. And obviously for us, we were always talking about scores and numbers, and
Mhm.
obviously we know top score on the SAT 1600, top score on the ACT 36. So I'm curious, like, what your thoughts are on, is a perfect test score worth working for? I'm actually really curious because we could probably have different opinions in this industry
Yeah,
about that.
so I get this question a lot, and I've been pondering it a lot lately. I'm really lucky right now. The proportion of students that I'm personally working with who are going for perfect scores is higher than ever.
Wow.
And I think a lot of that just has to do with where I put myself in the chain. Like when somebody calls and that's the path that they're on,
Mm-hmm.
I think that of everyone on my team, I bring the most value in that area.
100%.
Not to say that my other teachers haven't helped students get perfect scores, but this is the area that I like to work, but also I have a reputation. And
Your
a lot of our
reputation precedes you.
and well, I mean, a lot of IECs, right? They'll send me those students, and I just love working with them. And I'm working with kids who are showing up to my sessions with 35s and 36s on their practice ACTs, 1540s and 1570s on their SATs, like their practice tests. And,
Mm-hmm.
they haven't taken their official test yet. We want to lock that in. But the question has been traditionally, right? Like once you get to a 1500, once you get to a 34,
Yeah.
is it worth putting more work in? And I know that reflexively, a lot of us will say, a 34 or 35 is as good as a 36. The marginal benefit of bumping that up to perfect has much less impact on your application than whatever else you did with that time, possibly, right?
Right.
Possibly.
Sure.
That's true. But what I think about is the kind of student who's going for it.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine the parent who says, well, my daughter is like, she's probably good enough to get a chorus role in the winter musical. She really wants to work hard towards that
Sure.
lead,
I know
but
where you're
I
going
think
with
it's a
this.
lot like, is that going to matter?
Yeah.
Or the Olympic athlete who's like, well, bronze is fine. I don't need gold.
And yet getting bronze is an amazing accomplishment,
Well,
right?
totally. Because I mean, that's the thing. First of all, if you're shooting for perfection, you often will fall slightly shorter, but you'll land somewhere amazing.
Right.
But
Sure.
I think about the fact that we encourage teens in that moment of development to find the things they're most passionate about and really commit to
Mm-hmm.
excelling. The kid, nobody looks askance at the athlete who does the same sport every single season. They go to camps, they do extra practice, they spend literal hours a day
Mm-hmm.
on a sport that they're not going to be professionals in.
Yeah. No,
And
it's true.
why do we say then, yeah, you shouldn't work a little harder. You shouldn't devote a few hours a week to this thing that you think may define you. It may
Mm-hmm.
define you in your mind to say, yes, I want a perfect score. I want to go for it because that's who I am. It just seems to me like it's totally consistent with the personalities of lots of students who don't get the credit for their academic achievements that other kids get for their athletic or
True.
artistic,
Totally true.
right? What do you
Yep,
think?
I'm with you on that. No, I'm with you on that because you're totally right. There's so many places where students can shine. Like you said, athletics, it could be theater, whatever. But why don't we look at academics the same way? Like shine with that skill, like shine where you can shine. And sometimes it is they're masters or they can become masters
Yeah.
of these skills in such a way that that perfect score is their gold medal, right?
I
Yeah,
know students who do, math competitions and their schools, they could go to states and their schools don't give them any recognition compared to what the football team got for losing a game
right.
and losing
Totally.
closely. Like it's
Yeah,
not, there's just no comparison between the social clout that students get for a lot of these academic extracurricular activities, but they do get plenty of clout for perfect or close to perfect test scores. That is the one area
hmm
that you can swagger around.
hmm
I mean, think about it, right? We encounter people who, and maybe that's just because of the kind of people we know, but decades out of high school, they remember their scores,
Oh yeah,
and
right.
they don't mind an opportunity to share them.
If you don't remember your scores, I usually say to myself that because you don't want to remember
I usually say that out loud.
But I do what I liked actually what's nice is some schools, some cities, when they acknowledge like a student in the school district that got a perfect score, because you're kind of
Yeah,
like, that's really like we should celebrate that. Actually, what's been cool over the years is when sometimes that happens, I've had some of my students, then they acknowledge me in like the PR release where I'm like, oh, thank you for that. but but you would agree, not every student has the time to devote
oh, I
depending
agree
upon the
completely.
starting
I agree
score, right?
completely.
That's the
The same.
difference.
The thing is that what we have to look at that, and we have to help people understand a perfect score on the SAT or ACT is much more rare than you know.
hmm
It's
Although on the rise, the numbers of them are definitely greater
I
than they
mean,
used to be.
they might be greater, but also the number of test takers are greater. So
Truth,
look, there
true.
are fewer than 1,000 of either every year. I think SAT wise, substantially fewer, and that's out of millions of test takers.
hmm
Millions, millions. I mean, nobody is ever going to be engaged in a competition with this many people to beat in the field. I mean, it's like American Idol. I've always thought about it like American Idol because you see the people that show up, and I used to watch it. I don't watch it anymore, but I remember like in the early days, every audition was a stadium worth of people. So you have a
Right.
stadium worth of people showing up who like I could be on the show. And then
Right.
they are all performing and they're getting cut, they're getting cut, they're getting cut. And then finally you make it to like the top 12 or the top
Right. Yeah.
24 and you're still grinding for it.
Yeah.
And that is a good example. It's like getting like the football player who tries to make it to the pros, make it to the NFL.
Sure.
You've got one fraction of 1% who can do it. So, yes, of course, students, and not every student is capable of it.
Hmm.
Very few students show up for this process with the foundation of reading,
Yeah.
writing, math problem solving. If you weren't interested in these things earlier, if it wasn't part of your identity to be an
Correct.
academic achiever earlier,
It's
it's
very it's
yeah. How do
hard
you
at this
make yourself
stage.
that person who discovers you discover guitar in sophomore year, but you expect to win a national
Right.
prize or get
Right.
signed by a record label
Yeah.
in senior year for that? Like it's just hard to overcome the natural inclination, the years and years of steady conditioning to
Hmm.
get there.
Yeah.
It can be done, but right. So, like for a lot of students, it's not. And for a lot of students, right, we look at their scores and we're like, wow, you really outperformed all your practice on
Right.
that test. I'd take the money and run.
Well, it's and here's the thing, most of what we deal in most of the time is just the idea of we're rewarding growth,
Yes.
not necessarily the final score. But there are those kids, what you're suggesting is that there are the kids where it's like, yeah, you should work for a perfect score because you can do it. You can, it's in their
What,
sights.
what I
Yeah.
usually tell parents who ask the question, right? My kid is here. Like, should we keep going for it? I'm like, do they want to do it? And do you have the resources to support
Yeah.
it?
Right.
Right? If you
Exactly.
if you do, this is something that defines, we're defined by the challenges we take on.
Yeah.
The
Oh yeah.
students who are going for
And
this,
by the
if
way, taking on a student who's coming to you already in the 700s or at 34
yeah,
as a tutor, it's a challenge, but isn't
that's
it
why
kind
I
of
love
it's
working
a
with these
fun one.
students. It keeps me really
No,
engaged. Like I have to scramble because some of these kids they are much better and faster at certain things than I
I
am.
find it makes me become, I am becoming better. And quite frankly, most of the time I say those kids are actually probably smarter than me. But the one thing I have over them is the ability to coach them to the perfect score, which
Coaching
is
is the
something I
skill, right?
love. I
That's what
love.
tutoring
Yeah.
is about. It's
Yeah.
coaching. And
Yeah.
and that is so yeah, it's a thrill for me. And I think that for the student who's taking it on, not because they're trying to meet external demands, but because internally they're
Like
driven to
intrinsic
do this.
motivation.
It's the
Hmm.
challenge they want to take on that's going to define them. Encourage it.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. That's wonderful.
Cool. Oh, hey, what do you got coming up in the next month?
On my only travel per se, I think I'm going to Chicago for a weekend to celebrate our friend Scott's birthday.
Hmm.
But really kind of, we're kind of digging into college advising season, kind of really picking up. And of course, our eighth grade high school admissions season really picking up starting in August. So that's what's looming large for me. What about you?
That's great. Super busy, taking on lots of students. I don't want to go anywhere, but I will be heading down to New York. But we'll probably talk before that. I got to install Ivy in high school in the Upper
Yes.
East Side at the end of August. But yeah, for the next month, it's all going to be local fun. This
Yeah.
weekend, my friends
Enjoying
and
these
I,
last few weeks of quote unquote summer, right?
well, summer weather's gonna last well into
Well, no,
September.
well, when I say summer, I mean more of this idea of academic. Like, well,
Yeah.
for me in Ohio, we start back in school mid-August. You guys are later.
Yeah, no, no, no. Summer is here for
You're like, you still have a
another
while.
month and a
Oh
half,
no,
I
we
think.
consider it to be 3 more weeks, Mike. We're at about 3 more weeks,
Yeah,
and
no.
then when school starts here is
I've
about
always considered, and it's because I've grew up this way and I don't know any other way, but to
Labor Day.
me, school starting after Labor Day seems so natural to me.
You are so regionally
Regional, oh, I know
because
it,
it
but I
is
just
because
can't even
it's
believe
God in like Florida, Mike. They're starting like the first week of August, so that's what's so
we're working
hilarious.
with students all over the country, and they're
Yeah,
like, "Yeah, I'm going back
I know
mid-August." I'm
it's
like, "Oh, that's so
well,
sad."
that means it signals a whole difference in our schedule because
Well,
once we get
that's
out
true.
of quote unquote summer, it's a different kind of schedule that we then maintain.
I
Yeah,
know, and I am enjoying the
because we
having
said earlier,
evenings and weekends
yeah.
free.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
It is, and it's beautiful when it changes, and then I have days free, right? It's
Right.
that's also
Truth.
nice.
There is a difference. I get it. We get to enjoy it at a different point in time of the week. So for sure. Yeah.
Okay, listen, I think that we're done. We could talk about ourselves all day, you especially. Unfortunately, we are out of time.
It is always a pleasure, Mike.
Amy, the pleasure is always mine.
Awesome. We hope you enjoyed this discussion as much as we did. Be sure to join us for another fascinating topic and guest on the next Tests and the Rest.
Did you enjoy this episode as much as we did? Find expanded links and more for this and all of our episodes at our show page at testsandtherest.com. While you're there, be sure to explore everything the larger TestBright site has to offer, including real, expert, unbiased answers to the toughest admissions testing questions. Of course, we'd love for you to rate, review, and subscribe to Test and the Rest on your favorite podcast platform. If there's a topic or guest you'd like us to feature, just let us know and spread the word.